Hello, friends. I hope all of you are doing well and good today. I welcome you on my YouTube channel in Insurance. First of all, I request you to kindly subscribe my YouTube channel and press the bell icon button to get latest new uploaded videos on my channel directly to you. So let's start my today video on my YouTube channel in Insurance. My today video is going to about directors and officers in insurance and what is D&O and who needs it. So what is directors and officers D&O liability insurance? Directors and officers D&O liability insurance is insurance coverage intended to protect individuals from personal losses if they are sued as a result of serving as a director or an officer of a business or a type of organization. It can also cover the legal fees and other costs the organization may incur as a result of such a suit. So, director and officers D&O liability insurance covers directors and officers or their company or organization if sued. Most policies exclude fraud and criminal offenses. D&O insurance claims are paid to cover losses associated with the lawsuit, including legal defense fees. Site coverage covers directors and officers for claims where the company refuses to or is financially unable to pay for indemnification. Side B coverage covers the losses of directors and officers when the company does grant indemnification, and Side C coverage, also called entity coverage, extends coverage for the corporate entity itself. So, understanding directors and officers D&O liability insurance. D&O insurance applies to anyone who serves as a director or an officer of a for-profit business or non-profit organization. A D&O insurance policy insures against personal losses, and it can also help reimburse a business or a non-profit for the legal fees or other costs incurred in defending such individuals against lawsuits. So D&O insurance claims are paid to directors and officers of a company or organization for losses or reimbursement of defense costs if legal action is brought against them. Such coverage can also extend to criminal and regulatory investigations or trial defense costs. Civil and criminal actions are often brought against directors and officers simultaneously. D&O insurance is akin to corporate governance, corporate law, and the fiduciary's duty owed to stakeholders such as shareholders and beneficiaries. U.S. federal law grants directors and officers broad discretion in their business activities. Corporate law is typically handled at the state level. Publicly traded companies are subject to more federal regulation than privately held companies, particularly due to the Securities Act of 1933 and the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. So, the types of directors and officers liability insurance. The typical D&E insurance policy contains three types of insuring agreements. They are commonly referred to as Side A, Side B, and Side C. So, Side A coverage covers directors and officers for claims where the company refuses to or is financially unable to pay for indemnification. This, for example, if the company has declared bankruptcy. So, under Site A coverage, the individual officer is the one who's insured and it's their personal assets that are at risk. So, Side B coverage covers the losses of directors and officers when the company does grant indemnification. In this case, the policy will reimburse the company for legal costs. Under Side B coverage, it is the company that is insured while its corporate assets are at risk. So, Side C coverage, also called entity coverage, extends coverage for the corporate entity itself. Under Side C coverage, the company is insured and its corporate assets are at risk. So the exact coverage that a company goes with ultimately depends on its unique business model characteristics, needs, history, and financial picture, directory, and officers' liability insurance process. The process of D&E insurance in real life is straightforward. It all starts when a manager allegedly fails to perform their role. Some common risk scenarios include employment malpractice, reporting errors, inaccurate disclosures, insolvency, and regulation violations. So, as a result, several claimants decide to use the manager. Once the manager and the legal risk management departments are informed of the claim, they are then provided a description of the claim to their broker or insurer. If the claim is covered, the insurer covers the defense cost. If the claim is covered and the case is lost, the insurer pays for the defense cost and the financial losses. So, of course, that example heavily depends on the terms and conditions of this specific policy. Important is D&O insurance has become closely associated with broader management liability insurance, which covers liabilities of the corporation as well as the personal liabilities for the directors and officers of the corporation. And special considerations, D&O policies can take different forms depending on the nature of the organization and risks it faces. It is the best to seek out an insurance company with deep experience in its specialized field. The policies are generally purchased by the organization to cover a group of individuals rather than by the individuals themselves. So, if a company fails to disclose material information or willfully provides inaccurate information, the insurer may avoid payment due to misrepresentation. The severability clause in the policy conditions may be intended to protect against this by preventing misconduct by one insured from affecting insurance for other insureds. However, in certain jurisdictions, it may be ineffective. So, do you need D&O insurance? It depends on the size and nature of your business, but generally speaking, D&O insurance should seriously be considered. A job study showed that more than 25% of private companies reported a D&O loss over the span of 3 years, with 96% being negatively impacted financially. So, while D&O insurance isn't necessary for every single business, in every situation, it's fair to say that any company with a board of directors would be wise to consider D&O insurance. So, do small businesses need D&O insurance? Small businesses are not immune to costly lawsuits. It might be easy to assume that lawsuits or fines are only triggered by disgruntled shareholders. That's definitely the case with high profile suits against large public companies. However, for private companies, the most damaging suits are brought by customers, vendors, and other third parties. So, small companies might be uniquely vulnerable to a potentially damaging lawsuit because they don't have the financial muscle that large companies may have. So, how much does D&O insurance cost? The cost of D&O insurance can vary widely depending on factors like company size, industry risk appetite, financial position, revenue, and claims history. All are equal. Businesses that have a long operating history will likely pay less than young organizations. Insurance marketplace insurance found that the median cost of D&O insurers for its customers was $1,240 annually. So, what type of D&O insurance should you buy? The type of D&O insurance you choose depends on what your company needs and what it can afford. So, here are a few main things to consider. Should the policy just cover managers or the company as a whole? So, how much coverage is enough? So, what are the biggest and D&O risks your company in particular faces? So, what does D&O insurance cover? D&O insurance cover typically covers legal fees, settlements, and financial losses when the insured is held liable. Common allegations covered include breaches of fiduciary duty, failure to comply with regulations, lack of corporate governance, creditor claims, and reporting errors. Outright fraud, criminal activity, and lawsuits between managers within the same company are usually not covered. So trade on the go anywhere, anytime. One of the world's largest industries and exchanges is ready for you. So enjoy competitive fees and dedicated customer support while you got these D&O insurance services. So friends, this was my today video on my YouTube channel insurance, which is about two tractors and officers D&O insurance. So I hope all of you now have a good idea about D&O insurance. So I request you to please like, comment and share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel insurance. So friends, we will meet soon in my next video on my channel. So till then, kindly take care and have good day.